That intro is so old. It still says John's Comics with Kids. But hey, friends, welcome into John's Comics with Friends and my Saturday morning comics show. Still waking up here. It's only a little right around 8:30. I'm having my coffee. I'm an early riser, but yeah, haven't. This is some of the first words I've spoken today. So sorry, the voice is a little gravelly this morning. Uh, get your drive time radio. But yes, welcome to the Saturday morning show that I've been doing on my channel for, I guess, about 7 years. Started with the kids, so hence the intro there that I made back when they were willing participants on my YouTube channel. But it's a show centered around what are we reading, what are we watching, what are we enjoying, what are we not enjoying, what are we doing lately. So it's a little hangout, catch up kind of stream, and I appreciate all of you coming by and hanging for a little bit in the chat. That's always the best part of this, is the interactions that we get to have. So there's lots of fun links down below. Specifically, I pinned a link, and I'll get to that in just a moment. But let's say hello to the people who were tailgating early, because Perry and Ruben and Bruce were all here beforehand, hanging out, chatting, and I appreciate that in a big, big way. And then all of a sudden, we got the Reverend himself. Praise be you parishioners. This is the Reverend Bleeker, and I hope you have followed his YouTube channel, because tomorrow morning, that's where we're all going to be. Comic Book Church, praising King Kirby and all the goodies. Excuse me. Thank you, Reverend Bleeker, for coming by and blessing this chat. We got Gore Vidal, my friend, who I've been texting with and messaging with. He is somebody who is kind of like this underlying interconnect. You know how they say trees have roots that connect with one, and it's like an ecosystem that connects. He's like that. And I feel like every once in a while I'll talk to somebody like Sleepy Reader or somebody like White Whale Comics or whatever, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah," and Gore told me this, or Gore told me the ways that he has woven himself through this YouTube community. I absolutely love. He and I share love for certain writers and artists and creators, and so it's been kind of fun to go back and forth and talk about people. He knows my obsession with British writer Nick Hornby is deep. And I had watched a movie recently that I forgot the screenplay was written by Nick Hornby, and it's a movie that I go back to from time to time because it just has this draw for me. And so I sent him an email saying, "Hey, you ever seen this movie?" Because when I got to the end credits, it clicked why this movie has this hook in me. It's because it's this writer who just speaks to my soul. The movie, by the way, is called Wild. One word, Wild. This is the movie that Reese Witherspoon won Best Actress for. It's a autobiographical novel turned into a film. Very powerful story. We got Terry in the chat. Terry Talks Comics and Entertainment. Hello to you, Terry. That sounds like a new branding that Terry Vaughn, my buddy, might have gone through here. I like the new logo. Terry, looking sharp there, buddy. That's awesome, man. We got Astromazzi, and he says, could you see that Endgame was actually the end of the MCU universe, and Secret Wars will be the end with Captain America being old and Iron Man saying, "I am Iron Man"? I suppose they could do something like that at the end of it, Secret Wars. I don't know that Marvel ever wants to like reboot. So it's going to be an interesting look at like, what are they keeping? What are they changing? How are they using Secret Wars? Because it's interesting, right? Gore says he's watching that film today. Looking forward to it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you really enjoyed it, because I'm irregardless, I'm going to go back and probably watch it again at some point here soon. Something about it. I like, I certainly like characters overcoming hurdles and obstacles, especially or most poignantly when those obstacles are internal and they are in their own way. Because isn't that true of most of us, that the biggest hurdles we overcome in life are the ones we've built inside of ourselves? And doesn't mean we didn't have help, but those are the things we're overcoming. And I made the point to Gore that there's a line in the movie that resonated with me where the main character is dealing with the trauma of losing mom unexpectedly, a little earlier in life than maybe would be expected. And she says something like, thinking back about her mom, she says, "You were the love of my life." And I think all too often, and it may just be human nature. We think of the love of someone's life having to be a significant other, right? A spouse, a partner, what have you. But all too often, I think we overlook the idea that people often have loves of their lives that maybe aren't those people. Maybe you have an absolute best friend that is with you thick and thin your whole life, and that's the love of your life. I remember a woman I worked with for a very long time said the love of her life was the dog she had as an adult, her first real pet that she had from puppy to passing. And this was the love of her life. And the relationship she had with that dog, she never got over it. She was married, she's got kids. I don't know if she says that to all of them, but it's just struck a chord with me, this idea that the love of your life doesn't have to necessarily be a spouse or a significant other. I think maybe it's a rarity, but it's a fundamental truth. I think that maybe that person who impacts us most is not necessarily built on physical affection in the traditional sense. It's based on touching you deeper in your soul, right? Uh, don't trust humans, John. A woman married a roller coaster. And didn't Dennis Rodman marry himself? So let's just cut through all the baloney here, right? Cut through all of it. Good morning, Beckerman. Good to see you, my friend. But the movie Wild just brought that up for me, and it brings up a lot of things, a lot of deep feelings and thoughts, and I think the story that Cheryl Strayed, she changed her last name when her mom passed, is powerful, and the book she wrote is intense, and the film doesn't really flinch away from that. It really does, come across in a strong, strong way. Gore says, I shared your thoughts with someone I know who lost their dog. He is married, but told me their dog meant their life to them. Yeah, and I think it's a common experience that I don't think it's spoken about in the same way that romantic love does. Gore, sorry, Gore. I was talking to Gore, but now I got C Bizzle. I want to highlight some since he is the first, and he's in the chat right now. C Bizzle is a member of the Council of Comics, and I got in the mail this week Council of Comics sticker, a letter from the green shirt guy congratulating me because he sent me my golden tickets. And gang, these things are hilarious. Look, there's the faces of the members of the Council of Comics right there. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. I can't even with this. This is so dang funny. So it goes, if you don't know the Council of Comics YouTube channel, you're missing out. Some very funny people. Yeah, Sam. Sorry, is that Sam at the top? Yeah, it's Sam. Ronaldo is the green shirt guy, and then Phil, and then C Bizzle, and then Cliff. You got the crew here. C Biz, they gave you the hat. They made you wear a hat, I guess, in this. But I won some golden tickets for answering trivia on their show. So I got 5, gang. Look at this. I got 5 golden tickets right here. And they're actually stickers. So I'm going to put them onto stuff. You answer trivia in their chats and have a good time. It's a whole lot of fun. So shout out to the Council of Comics. So many great, obviously I'm, in love with C-Biz and with Cliff. Those guys are incredible, but I'm starting to get to know the other guys. Phil in particular cracks me up. Great guy. He picked some really phenomenal movies the last 3 Sundays, including this coming Sunday. Tomorrow, they're talking about Vertigo, one of my favorite movies of all time. Very impressed, very entertained. So those guys are a whole lot of fun to enjoy. If you haven't seen their channel, look, JS Brooklyn in the chat. I appreciate you, John, dropping the link to the council. They are live tomorrow talking about Vertigo. I will be in that chat if I can, because it's usually around 2 o'clock my time, 5 Eastern. Great discussions. JP says, how did I arrive in time for John to make me miss my dog? It's just good timing. It's just good timing. We got Roscoe in the chat geeking out. What's going on, my man? Good to see you, Roscoe. I hope your Saturday's kicking off well. Perry says, I like Twilight when Edward says, you are like my own personal brand of heroin. I mean, it's classy. That's classy. I'll shoot you up. I just remember, hi, madam. talking to this coworker of mine when she said that this dog was the love of her life, and it resonated with me, and it's probably been more than a decade since she said it. And I had just never considered it. And it might be a very American straight white male kind of thing, I guess, that your spouse is the love of your life and there is no other option. And I think it's a very narrow-minded view, perhaps, of what love is. So to hear her say that, it really, cracked something in my psyche, I think. And then to hear it said again when I watched this movie Wild, again, it's the Reese Witherspoon film by Jean-Marc Vallée, who did Big Little Lies and Dallas Buyers Club. Jean-Marc Vallée, a very talented filmmaker who really does like to get into the nitty-gritty, raw human emotion stuff. It just resonated with me, this concept of the love of your life can be a lot of different things. It doesn't necessarily have to just be a romantic kind of thing. So yeah, meaningful, deep and meaningful thoughts there. So, throw that into your Saturday morning hopper if you want. I think Wild is streaming right now because I just watched it the other day and it made me reach out to Gore because we have that kind of email text relationship where it's like, hey, I saw a movie, I read a book, just, throw that in your mind. This is what I'm thinking about. And then a couple of weeks go by and we'd come back around to it at some point. We got Mr. Mike in the chat. What is going on, sir? Good. Appreciate you coming by. Every guy says that to me. Well, madam, we all mean it. It's all real, right? In that moment. If you guys haven't seen Madam's, she's got some great art pieces that she's working on right now. Unbelievable. So it's not fair to have that much talent in one person. I'm just going to say. Rod is in the chat, my brother. What's going on, Rod? I hope you're doing all right this morning. I hope there's a dog walk, maybe live stream in the near future. Good to see you out and about, my friend. John is saying he's already gearing up for Heroes Con and becoming my dad. Yeah. See, I wish I could. I'm struggling to see if I will be able to go to very many cons in 2026. It's just hard. It's just hard to financially be in that place. And I would love to fly back east for another con, and Heroes Con and Terrific Con. A lot of these are high on my list, but light, food, tickets, hotel, all these things add up. It's a luxury to be able to do something like that. And it's not one that I've been able to. I'm lucky, to be able to have done it twice. So one day, I hope to again. I would love to do MegaCon again. It was absolutely fantastic. I'd love to do Baltimore again. That was such a surreal experience, but that is so hard to be able to afford it. I would love to get back east, though, for another con. It's like Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it? She had some rough love stories in her life. Absolutely. Twilight films are trending on Amazon Prime. Is it their anniversary? Something is in the air on this because I do know, like, my sister's been rewatching Twilight Zone, so I don't know if there's some soft reboot coming or I don't know. But yes, always very powerful. Great series for sure. Digger Jim is in the chat. What's going on, Jim? Good to see you, my friend. See, Rod said it to me before the show last night. The heroin thingy. Twilight Zone book was 2005 and the film was 2008. Yikes. For my next mega. Oh, Perry. Nailed it. Let's see what I got for you, Perry. He wants this one.
Mama called the doctor. The doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed.
No more monkeys jumping on that bed, Perry. How about this one too?
I really don't like when you're doing that.
But I'm the bad guy. I'm supposed to destroy everything.
But I don't do that. I just save people. And I make stuff for them.
I don't think that sounds very evil.
That was from the old days. From the bedtime routine with Charlie was I would bring Lego Darth Vader into bed to like talk her down, get her to go to sleep, and she would have these long-winded philosophical discussions about, how to be a good person, trying to convince Darth Vader to be good, to find that good inside of him. So there you go. Enjoy that. So yes, shout out to the Council of Comics. Thank you for sending these. Green Shirt Guy hooking me up with the prize winnings from their crew. Much appreciated. But let's get into the link I've got pinned in the chat. I don't want to get away from that for too long. Shout out to my man, Rob Wurst from Not Near Mint, because last night he hosted a surprise Comic Gories reunion, I guess you could say. He sent me an email yesterday morning saying, hey, tonight is my usual 9 p.m. Eastern comic show live stream, and I want to do Comic Gories. I want to explain it. I want to try to hype it and bring it back. And it's been gone for almost exactly 3 years. I was like, well, I've got a thing I'm recording at 9 o'clock Eastern. I can try to make it by 10 Eastern. He's like, do what you got to do. I'm going to go anyways. I'll do what I can. So I was like, okay, I don't know what this is going to be. I don't know what Rob's got planned. I finished the recording that I was doing with Stu over at, which is also linked down below, Stu from Dr. Doom's fan club. I finished the recording with him. It was off air so he could edit it. And then I jumped over and he's got his crew going, and he allows me to like piggyback and copy the stream onto my channel. So if you caught part of it, or if you got a notification bell, or if you see that it's there, that's what happened. And Rob wanted me to kind of come on as something of an ambassador to Comic Gories and explain what it is. And then he wanted to play a couple of rounds with his friends and just have some fun. So thankfully he did all the legwork, and JP and I just kind of showed up and party crashed this thing. It was a fun panel. It was a fun time. If you're missing Comic Gories, I guess he's kind of doing some of these one-offs every so often, once a month. He's gonna play a little bit. So a less structured version of the show, perhaps with a less consistent panel where it's like you win and then you come back next week, which was probably my own fault. I probably dug my own grave on that a little bit, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, hard to believe it's been 3 years. So the link to that is pinned in the chat if you want to watch it. I think it's somewhere around the 1 hour mark. I think the show went on for about 2.5 hours, but about at the 1 hour mark is when you can find me joining and getting on the big screen and explaining the rules. And that's about when the whole thing kicks off. If you've never heard of Comic Gories, if you've never heard of this game, it's a good way to learn the rules and watch them play it. It was a lot of fun, just a lot of work and a little bit of stress. But so if you want to see it, I just wanted to highlight that. So that's that link pinned in the chat. You can save it for later if you really want. What was I doing with Stu last night? That's just as important. We were talking about specifically House of X issue 2. He wants to do a series he's been working on where community members pick a single issue of comics that they really love and then come on and break it down and discuss it. And he said, hey, John, would you want to join this series I've been doing? You pick a comic, we both read it, we just get into all the nitty-gritty of the single issue, and then I cut it together. So I had to pick a single issue, and I went through a few choices, and ultimately what stuck with me was like, I want to do the issue where Moira is revealed to be a mutant, which is House of X issue 2, the big, I would say, game changer in this hardcover storyline, House and Powers of X. He was like down. He was in. And it was fun because I got to go back and reread the whole series. I got all my fun variants out. In fact, I got a little stack of them behind me here if you want to share. But my favorite being this variant, I think it's the second or third print where they put the moment on the cover when Destiny tells Pyro to just burn Moira, like just melt her slowly enough that she remembers what it feels like to die this way. Ooh, what a moment. I love that they made a variant with this on the cover. I was like, oh my God, what a cover. What a wild moment. And yeah, just so great. So we spent a lot of fun time talking about it. I'm just a big fan of this era. I think it's such a disruptive story where they really upended a lot of things and they took big chances. And I love writers and artists taking risks. I don't like playing it safe. I don't want to see a yet another Green Goblin Spider-Man story that we've seen 100 times. I want risk. That's how you get, Kraven's Last Hunt. That's how you get Death of Gwen Stacy is you take risks, right? The writers need to be able to risk things. So Hickman and Pepe Larraz really did that. They took some big, bold risks, and it didn't land with everybody, but it did land with me in a big way. So it was fun to talk about it, fun to go back through it. If you want to see that video when it drops and hear the discussion, his channel is linked down below, and you can go over and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And then when he drops the video, he said will probably drop in the next week. Then you can catch it and enjoy that. So hopefully something for everybody. Some fun mutant comic book discussion, right, going on. Bobby De La Ghetto is in the chat. Happy Saturday to you, Bobby. And yes, let's have another sip. Cheers to you. Yes, sir. Happy Saturday, my man. Let's see who else we got going in the chat. Obviously, yes, everybody should be going to church. Pray for those comic book sinners. That's what we got to do. Get over there and pray for them comic book sinners. We got my man Eric from 9 Panel Grid. What's going on, Eric? He and I have been talking about indie books lately, because both of us love a good indie comic book, and it's that time of year when everybody's making their lists of their favorites from last year. And he left me some great comments about the list I published, because my video dropped Thursday of my favorite indie books from 2025. It was a whole lot of fun. It's my favorite video to do every year. I just really enjoy discussing the books that bring us joy, the books that challenge us, the books that excite and enlighten us. So it was a fun chat, and he's always got good reading lists for me. Madam says, what comic book, if you had to choose, would you willingly be trapped in? Ooh. I mean, it's probably not a superhero book. The last thing I need is to have like a building fall on me. It's like, oh yes, I landed in Metropolis, and then Doomsday drops a building on me or something. So it's probably not a superhero comic. That is a really interesting question. Really interesting. I mean, let's face it, I kind of grew up in Grommets, the independent comic from like a year and a half ago, which is focused on Southern California skaters in the 80s, which was my childhood. That was what I grew up in. So I did grow up in that comic book, and it was quite a life at that time. It was quite a moment in life. But that is a really interesting question. I'm gonna have to think on this. Folklore, you're gonna die in Folklords, Perry. Come on, you wouldn't last 10 seconds in Folklords. Those guys are gonna mess you up. Perry's gonna be like, wait, where's my reboot? Where do I respawn? Bobby might have the correct answer. It's possible. Bobby's got the correct. Yeah, Cherry Blossom. Hard to go wrong there. That might be the winner. I don't. You're gonna at least live long enough to enjoy. What about Archie? Archie could be kind of fun. Hang out with Archie and the gang. Get a hamburger at the little soda stand at the malt. Get a malt. That might be the way to go. Archie's a winner. I could go with Archie. That would be fun. Yeah, that is a tricky one. Madam. That's gonna fester. What's up, Izzy? Izzy's in the chat. How you doing? Scooby-Doo. Yeah, there you go. Solving mysteries and pulling hoods off of bad guys. Surprised dudes aren't saying why the last man. No, I would not last 5 minutes in Why the Last Man. Those people would come and kill me. If I was a woman, I might be more inclined to survive in Why. Do you see what Yorick goes through in that book? How many times he's nearly castrated? No, I'm passing on that experience. No way, gang. Yeah. I mean, I would love for a moment to have been able to hang out in New York in Fables, the Fabletown version, where you can see all the incredible superpowered fables. There's the big bad wolf, and there's Beauty and the Beast, and you're in Fabletown. That would be kind of fun. But then war breaks out and people are dying, and it's like, I'm out of here. I got to get out of here. I mean, maybe it does, Gore. Maybe this is worthy of a video. a comic book that you would love to live in. Whew. Yeah, that is a tricky one. That is a tricky one. That's gonna fester. That is gonna fester. Oh, Beckerman. Whoop whoop. This is why we get along. If only I was into wrestling, we would like be the best of friends, I think. If only I cared about wrestling even a little bit. or sports in general. I think you're a football guy too. If only I had any inkling of being interest in sports, right? What am I going to do about it? So yeah, anyways, there's my house and powers. I would love to have lived on Krakoa at the beginning before it was like constantly under attack. Like live on Krakoa, sign me up. I would happily live there in the first few years of it. One day, get into wrestling. It's like comics. It's not. It's nothing like. It's not like comics. I've seen it. It's not like comics. I mean, the outfits are similar, but it's not like. It doesn't feel like comics. Doesn't at all. What else have I got here? So I got a few things in the mail. I was going to go through some things that I picked up recently. I'm going to start with last week. I interviewed my good friend, the Unruly Simeon, and Lane and I had a long talk about comics. And one of the books that he recommended to me was a Dark Horse book that I had never heard of by Paul Chadwick. And it was called Concrete, and about a superhero character who is basically made of concrete, kind of like The Thing. And I'd never heard of it. So I ordered Depths, which he said is kind of like the first major storyline in Concrete. It's a black and white comic, so I can kind of show you a little bit of kind of what he looks like there. You can kind of see Concrete, the character. I've not read it before. I've never even heard of this character before, so it's kind of going to be an eye-opening experience to check this out. But he said it was very impactful to him as a young man. Oh, there's a receipt on the inside. So for him, he was highlighting the experience that he got from it. So it looks like 1986 is when this volume was published, and then republished several times all the way through to this 2005 version. And it includes the story A Stone Among Stones, Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, The Transatlantic Swim, Water God, A New Life, Straight in the Eye, An Armchair Stuffed with Dynamite, Sympathy for the Devil, Orange Glow, and Vagabond. So it's all of those stories in this one sort of slightly smaller than a trade paperback sized volume. So again, never really heard of this character. So I snagged that. I also snagged, he said, this one story, Fragile Creature, was one that he really loved. So I got this. This is comic book size. So it's in a bag and board. And I snagged that one. I don't think this one's in color either. I will double check. Let me double check if this has color at all. Oh, this one is in color. All right. So let me see if I can find a page. That's a fun one. Yeah, there he is. There's Mr. Concrete in color. All right. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of try this series and to check it out at some point. But his discussions around it definitely perked my interest, or piqued. Sorry, piqued is the correct word. I don't know how you perk an interest, but you piqued an interest. So I went and immediately after being off air with him, I went and bought those two, and they both arrived this week. So they are on or in my reading pile at this point. Something that I will be diving into in the near future and hopefully giving you some thoughts about at some point. So that's still in my to-do list at some point. Let's see, did I miss something? Oh, Perry wants to be in Money Shot. That's I don't know. Those guys are almost always dying too and making love with tentacled creatures, and I don't know if I'm ready for any of that either. That sounds above my pay grade as well. Let's see. Can I live in Heated Rivalries novels? Bruce with the correct answer. Izzy says, Concrete is great. Indie magic from Dark Horse. Nice. Okay, God, I'm glad that people have heard of it. Okay. Gore seems very hyped on it. He says, I was looking forward to your thoughts. Concrete is brilliant. There you go. My man Matt from Heroes for Hire. What is going on, Matt? I hear he is crushing trivia on Bruce's channel and that he needs competition. If you love comic book trivia and you want to compete, please reach out to Kingdom of Nerds, Brucifer. Bruce needs your help in dethroning Matt from Heroes for Hire. And I guess every Friday there's that trivia option, and you can get in there and try to upend the paradigm of the domination by Matt from Heroes for Hire Comics. They should have a wrestling comic extravaganza. They can all dress up like comic characters and see who can really win against whom. Wonder Woman, Vampirella. I mean, now you're speaking the language, madam. Now you're speaking it. Beckerman says, give me a chance, John. Let me take you to a show, and I promise you'll have an amazing time. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't have an amazing time, mostly just because I'm hanging out with you. But will I want to come back? Will I want to watch it? Will I want to talk about it, debate it, and like get into the lore? That's the question. It's like I could have fun going to a football game and watching it, but it's going to be about the people I'm hanging out with. Does that mean I'm going to want to play fantasy football? Does it mean I'm going to want to watch the games live on television? Does it mean I'm going to want to talk about the players? No, I'm not going to. That's not going to happen to me. I can't imagine that. I've never liked football. It's always been a frustration for me. You will particularly enjoy Fragile Creatures since it takes place on a film set. Oh, interesting. Good to know. Oh, another Matt in the chat. What's going on, Matt? I appreciate you, sir. And he hung out with us last night. He was in the chat last night. I appreciate you, man. It was a fun time. Fun time. Uncle Max says, bro, concrete, that takes me way back. There it is. Look, other people loved concrete. That's good to know. I can't compete against Matt because then he would cry and I'd be sad. Nailed it. I only cry if I can't buy comics. All right, there you go. That's fair. I think we would all feel emotional in that moment. So yeah, I will definitely be reading some concrete. I'm not sure when it'll happen. I've got a few things I'm trying to catch up on, a few things I'm trying to make sure I'm ready for. Because Tuesday night on my channel, we are talking the trial of Magneto, the original trial of Magneto. We're getting into all this John Romita Jr. goodness, this moment in time. So that's what we're going to be breaking down on my channel with Fable. One collection down, Fable is going to be joining us, and we'll be just hammering away at our guy Magneto. So that's coming up. So I'm catching up on that, reading it, double-sized slideshow coming your way, putting things together. Bobby even says it too. Concrete's a solid book. There you go. Look, wow, I didn't realize how far and wide the lore of Concrete had spread. So that's good to know. I picked up a few variants that I was missing. So let's run through some of those. I got 4 of them here next to me. I never got the annual that Poison Ivy dropped here in the fall. I think it came out in, was it November? And I just missed it. My shop didn't get hardly enough. And I love this cover. This is a Seb McKinnon cover. And I was very upset I didn't get one of these. It feels like The Lady in the Lake. For those of you that know the King Arthur story, this feels very much like The Lady in the Lake, but, you know, obviously with our girl Poison Ivy instead. So I had to snag this. Look at that's just beautiful. That is just stunning. So I made sure I found a copy of that for cover price, snagged that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then I got an issue 2. This is I think the 1 in 50 by Sweeney Boo that I had somehow missed out on. Absolutely a beautiful cover. I love the use of the color work here. Just really strong. The black and the different reds. So fantastic. So very excited to snag one of these. I think I have an issue 1 cover on the way that I missed. Another, for whatever reason, I know every once in a while I'll just snag one of those that I'm missing. And then I saw this set and I thought it was hilarious. So the copper tone bathing suit redone, but with like a plant that looks like something out of Little Shop of Horrors. Just, it made me laugh. This gave me the giggles. So I got the trade dress and I got the non-trade dress. So I got that. There's also a foil, but people want like $50 for that foil. And I'm like, I don't like foil that much. I'll tell you right now. So I snagged these. This is for issue 25, I believe. 24. So if you're looking for that one, those are pretty cheap. You can usually find those around $10. Those are online exclusives. So I had not seen them. And then when I was searching for Poison Ivy variants on eBay that I didn't have, they popped up and I was like, maybe I need to grab those. Let's see here. Bobby says, be sure to catch the last episode of X-Men Omni. Yeah, because we were on with Bobby last week talking about X-Men Annual number 9 when Storm picks up the hammer and becomes the goddess of thunder. A lot of fun. Art Adams is just an absolutely talented person, and his work looked incredible in that book. So if you missed it, that was a really fun chat. That was over on No Good Comics channel, but it's in the playlist I got going for Omni X-Men, so it's all there for you. The history of wrestling is rooted in carnival. Are you saying you wouldn't enjoy tales of crooked carnies? Oh, Beckerman. Oh, Beckerman. You are a funny, funny man. 9-Panel Grid says, make sure to use a rubber mallet when hammering away at Magneto. Yes, smart. Watch out for that. Madam's going to do a live stream with that question. Sign me up to be in that chat. I will be there. Beckerman hunted down that annual as well. Nice. Who doesn't, right? Poison Ivy is such a great character, such a vibrant character that you can't just put her in a box, right? She's not A or B. She's definitely in the gray areas. Morally, personally, I think she exists outside of the binary, I guess I would say, of all things, right? Heroes, villains, gay, straight. I think she exists outside of the binary. And as a result, I think she's wonderfully ambiguous. And then for the reader, she represents this idea of being different in a kind of fun way. And of course, she's very connected to herself and to the world, and is very uninhibited in a lot of ways, which I think is also very, unusual in our puritanical America that we live in. I think her responses to our civilization are so unique that I think it creates instant curiosity for those of us that have been sort of indoctrinated by this puritanical society. So I find her absolutely fascinating. And of course, stunning, gorgeous, and all those kinds of things. Pure, raw nature. I mean, yeah, for sure, right? There's a primal quality to her character, absolutely, 100%. And G. Willow Wilson's writing, I think, really helps to draw out elements in her character that I think have been underutilized, perhaps in the past. And I think sometimes she's always just been a foil to Harley or a foil to Batman or what have you. And I think there's a lot more character there. And I think that's been the fun of this volume from G. Willow Wilson is, peeling back some of those layers to better understand the conflicts inside of her, because she's existing, unlike any character in DC, in both lanes. And what I mean by that is she's in the green, which is that Swamp Thing nature side, and she's in the red, which is that Animal Man, creatures of the world side. And she's got a foot on both sides of that, right? And I think because of that, she sees the beauty and the flaws in all of it, which is a rarity in life in general, but certainly in that universe, right? To understand all living things, plant and animal, and understand the positives, the negatives, the challenges, the successes in all aspects of that. It gives her a very unique perspective, something that Swamp Thing doesn't have, that Animal Man doesn't have, right? That none of the characters who live in that DC universe have her perspective. So it makes it quite exciting to hear her perspectives on things, right? Ooh, I never considered that, madam. That it's a winless life, that there's no chance for victory, right? Because if either side wins, the other side loses. So maybe victory for her is that while she's alive, she's keeping the balance. Maybe that's the perspective for her character is, how do I maintain a balance when the world can get so easily out of balance? And that may be her ultimate success, if you will, creating and maintaining a balance between these things. That's a very interesting perspective, madam. She says a witness. She's witnessing. She's a witness to life. Sorry. Winless life. That's interesting. I'm going deep on a typo. I really am. It triggered something in me, madam. Yeah, she is a witness to all life for certain. But again, I think I think it's a very wonderful typo, because the truth is, right, that if nature or mankind win, she loses some aspect of herself. So she is maintaining a balance between these things. Yeah. Hey, sometimes I just like to talk. Sometimes I just get going. It's my nature. What am I going to do? All right, I got one other little kind of faux unboxing here for you guys. I got a new order from In Stock Trades. So I occasionally, if my LCS or if Books with Pictures is who I order from, usually online, if both of them don't have certain books that I need, and I can find them on In Stock Trades, that's my third pick. Amazon being the last. I generally go my LCS, and if they don't have it or can't order it, I check with Books with Pictures, which is Jennifer from Comics Will Break Your Heart. That's her LCS, and they have a very good online presence. I can reach out to the store owner on Instagram. So I go there second, and then third would be going over to In Stock Trades. So just let John cook. Oh, so funny. So I bought 4 things off of In Stock Trades, things that I was excited to check out and to try out and to read. It's a lot of DC and then one indie. So I'm going to start with the indie. And the indie is by Brian K. Vaughan, and it's called Spectators. And I went through a very odd journey with this book. I'm going to open it. Let me find my... This used to be a Reggie Collects blade, but now there's no name on it. It's faded away to nothing. So I heard some people recommend me this book, and I'm a Brian K. Vaughan fanboy. So it was always like on my radar, but I couldn't find it anywhere. Every time I looked for it, I couldn't find it. And then ultimately I went on Amazon, and I found a digital version. I was like, okay, cool, I'll download that. I didn't look closely enough that the only version that they had for digital reading was Italian. And John don't speak Italian. John's Italian is racist at best. And so I downloaded this Italian version, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try it. I'll see what I can do. I got about 10 pages in, and I was caught into the artwork enough, but my Spanish was trying to do the Italian justice, and it wasn't working. So I closed the app, and I added this to my cart on In Stock Trades and I just went and bought the hardcover. So now it is here. Taylor is correct. This, if Sheena was in the chat, I would be telling her this is a smutty good time from what I've heard, that it involves a character who passes away and spends her time as a ghost watching people get it on. So there's this kind of pervy spy thing going on where she is kind of like peeking in on people who are, doing dirty deeds, as it were. But then I believe there's some kind of mystery that comes out of it, right? And I don't know that I can show you very much here, because I do know that you'll occasionally get the nudity happening. But there is some violence and some things, some things going on. But this is Brian K. Vaughan, who is a writer I really, really love. And then an artist I don't know, Nico Henriksen, that I am unaware of, and I don't know if it tells me anything about the artist. A veteran of comics and illustration whose works include Pride of Baghdad, which I have heard of. That's the one with the lions, and I want to say Jason Aaron might have written that. And Mega Baron and Noah. Okay, and other titles for Marvel Comics. All right, so there you go. That's something new. Wait. You tried to read Italian with Spanish. Yes. So I am fairly good in Spanish, and I would, Italian and Spanish share elements, let's just say. So I tried to use my deductive reasoning and read this book with, I think that word means this, and I think that this means that, and try to, work my way through it. No, we don't behave around here. We don't. Vaughn published the whole thing for free on his Substack, 1 or 2 pages at a time. Oh, interesting. Okay. Too bad Craig's not here. We would tell him about it, but whatever. So yeah, I'm excited to read this. I do hear some spicy good times are had, but this is a really powerful story as well. So I figured, you know what? Let's just plunk down the money. And the funny thing is, the cover price is $30. between what I paid on in-stock trades for this and what I paid for the Italian digital download, I think I paid $30. So I think I just paid cover price, but I have an Italian version if I really want it. So yeah. So that was number one. That was the first thing I got. It's all right, Ian. Just ice it. You'll feel better, buddy. Matt says, "Don't worry if you can see my PFP, John, but I made it for you." Okay. Uh-oh. Trouble. And then I've got 3 DC books that I purchased. And I'm going to start with the one that I've been waiting to buy for a while. And I think JP mentioned it to me. This is Nightwing Year 1 by Dixon and Beatty. Chuck Dixon and Scott Beatty have done a few of these kind of volumes. They did Robin Year 1 and Batgirl Year 1, I believe, together. So I loved those. Of course, I love Batman Year 1, the original one. And so I had heard that this volume was really great. I had just gotten Batman and Robin Year 1, the combined one that Mark Waid did with Chris Samney. Loved that one. So now I figured I needed to keep going, and I got Nightwing Year 1. So I'm excited to read this. Never read it before. In fact, let's open this one up too. Let's keep this trend going. Let's open these up a little bit. Just going to be a little careful here so that I don't cut the book. There we go. Here we go. All righty. Let's take the little sleeve off here. And we got, there he is, the Disco Nightwing. And there he is on the inside. That's a cool drawing. That's awesome. Let's see what the back cover is. And there he is kicking. Disco Nightwing. So I've never read this storyline, but here you've got, the plot of Robin deciding that he needs a new life, right? A new license as a superhero. He's tired of being the sidekick. And this might include maybe some flashbacks to when he first became Robin, or maybe that's the new Robin. Hard to know for sure. But there he is, Nightwing in all his glory. Yeah. So I'm excited to add this to the set. The artwork does look old school, flashbacky. But that is kind of what Scott Beatty is kind of known for. His art style is OG 90s kind of stuff. Wait, is Beatty the writer? I thought he was the artist. Did I just screw that up? Yeah, I was right. Okay. Oh, Scott McDaniel is doing the artwork. Okay. See, I'm learning some things here. Let's see what it tells me on the inside here. The writers. Okay, so the penciler is Scott McDaniel. Okay, so I'm learning some things, figuring some things out. It takes me. I'm slow on the catch up. I'll get there eventually. So excited for this. Excited to check it out. This has been something that I've been looking forward to eventually diving back into. It's solid. Includes how he gets the name and his first meeting with Jason as Robin. There you go. We got Paul in the chat. What's going on, Paul? He'll be on my channel tomorrow night. We'll be doing some Dungeons and Dragons with this guy as well. Daniel's all right. There you go. So yeah, that's now added to my Year 1 collection. I do believe there's a Teen Titans Year 1 that I might need to get next. I have not made the decision how far my Year 1 collection is going to go. Next up, I finally broke down and purchased DC Finest Aquaman King of Atlantis. And you might be like, John, I've never heard you talk about Aquaman. What are you going off the deep end here? Water reference. I've been collecting the Volume 1 Aquaman books. The comics have such incredible covers and artwork that I've been kind of lured into this Silver Age character stuff. And you cannot get these comics in a collected edition. There's no hardcover omnibus, blah, blah, blah. Especially considering all of his earliest appearances are in backup stories throughout books like Amazing Adventures, I think. Adventure Comics, Action Comics, Detective Comics, World Finest Comics, Showcase. So a lot of these early appearances in the Silver Age are like this. So what DC did is they put together this really large soft cover that gives you all the backup stories, and it goes all the way through the first 3 issues of the Nick Cardy solo self-titled Aquaman series. And they're all in one little sleeve. In fact, I would love it if they did a second volume to include the rest of the Nick Cardy era stuff, because I think that would be fantastic. So this this was a book I kept questioning. Do I want to buy it? Do I want to buy it? And finally, the price is ridiculously cheap. It's $40 for the cover on the cover, but in stock trades, this was probably 19. I was like half price. It was very cheap. And I thought, look, these are in color. It's all the stories, all the original appearances. Obviously, it's not the Golden Age stuff. It's the original Silver Age stuff instead, like the follow-up stuff. And it kicks off with Adventure Comics, all the Adventure Comics stuff from issue 229 through 284. And any of his backup stories in there. And then a few of those other ones that I mentioned as well. I'm excited to get into this and see those. I mean, I'm sure they're going to be super cheesy, super cheeky, super, Silver Agey. But I'm also excited to finally get through to the Nick Cardy era. I don't want to open my copies and read those. I don't think I even own the first three. So none of the books in here I own and could read. I'd have to read them digitally. So this was a fun way to kind of get those stories and collect those things. You're not just going to stare at the pretty covers. I mean, I have Poison Ivy for that, right? I have that Aquaman, haven't read it yet. I waited for the Silver Age release forever. Yep. Oh, that's nice. They have a Aquaman and Hawkman one too. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I hope they do. I mean, I would love an omnibus, but I know that's a lot to ask, especially when his early appearances are those backup stories. It's not as easy to collect them. There's no covers to include because he's not on the covers for anything until the showcase era, right? So it's a ton of comics before he even gets on the cover in the Silver Age. So I think it would be a difficult thing to put in an omnibus. It would have to be in an unusual format. I think they would have to consider kind of how to really do that effectively. So for now, this DC Finest volume that they've got here, which is the years it covers are 1957 to 1962. This works for me. And for the price point, I couldn't say no. So I snagged that and I picked that up. The last thing in my in-stock trades order, and I'm not going to cut this one open because I don't do that omnis until I'm ready to read them. Magic Lasso, if he's in the chat. I picked up the John Byrne Wonder Woman omnibus. This was like 60% off. Like, it was stupid cheap. It was like the price point on this is what, $100 and something dollars? $100. I paid less than 50 for this. It was super cheap. I think it's gone back up to $60 or something like that. He still wants me to get the Jimenez volume as well, which I haven't gotten around to. That one is still around that $60 price point. So he wants me to get that one as well. But I love John Byrne's artwork. So for me, it was like, I'm buying this for the artwork, and I hope the story is worthy of his talent. So yes, another one we can do, JP. Another one we can add to the list. We've got the mod era. We've got this volume, and eventually the third George Perez volume, when that one either comes back into publication or we all find it for a cheap price. More Wonder Woman in the future. So there you go. That was my in-stock trades order. I will say I have one more on the way that I don't know if it got back ordered or whatever, but I believe it's arriving today. It's the hardcover deluxe edition for Far Sector. This is the story where they introduce a new Green Lantern character named Sojourner Mullen, and Sojourner, or Joe, is a different kind of Green Lantern in that her ring doesn't need to be recharged the same way. It just needs to have downtime. So she uses it and then it needs to recharge on its own, and then she can use it again. She doesn't need to like use the actual lantern to recharge it. A really great story. It's like a murder mystery. She's on this unusual planet with its unusual governmental, system, and she's trying to solve this crime. So it's a 12-issue series, very entertaining. And I was blown away by it when it first started dropping. I was picking up the issues right off the bat. I think I've got 3-4 copies of issue 1. Very entertaining. And I've never owned the deluxe edition. I had a regular trade paperback that I gifted away I think I bought it twice and gifted it away both times because I got the issues, I can read them that way. But this was hard to resist. The price point is really nice and low on the deluxe edition. So I bought it, and it's coming today, and I'll have that. I did get sort of nudged into buying it by the bearded comic bro Greg. He has, and I can't believe I'm celebrating it, he has a Discord chat. And I begrudgingly have joined entirely too many Discord chats. I believe the number is now in the double digits, the amount of Discords I'm in. I blame Perry Comics specifically for this, but there are other people that can equally take blame. However, the newest one that I'm in is by the bearded comic bro, and he has a comic book club group on Discord. You can join his group, and they will be reading a volume about every month, chatting about it, and eventually they might do an off-air live stream talking about it. Sorry, it's not a live stream if it's offline, right? They might do an off-air, offline recording discussing the book that he can then edit together and post to his YouTube channel. So we did Traveling to Mars, which I just got the hardcover for the other day. And now his group is doing Far Sector, and I want to reread it. So he motivated me to make that purchase and finally get the hardcover. So it's funny that I guess the first two book clubs he's done, I've recently acquired the hardcovers to those books. But they're great books. They're books I really truly enjoyed, that I feel passionate about, and they just happen to be the books that the group is discussing. So I'm definitely in on that. It's a pretty chill group. Usually it's a lot of the same homies you're seeing in my chat here, and they're dropping comments about how they're feeling about the book or panels that they really enjoyed. So it's been a fun thing to check in on. They're not going live in there, and they're not doing video recordings or anything like that. It's just words, it's just chat. So I jump in and out and check kind of what they're doing. So this will be another one for that Discord group. So something to enjoy, something that's coming up. That actually sounds like a Discord I would like. Nobody tell Greg I said that. I will not share that. Don't worry. It does not leave this live stream. So there you go. That's it, gang. Those are the things I've been collecting, the things I've been getting, the things I've been reading. I didn't really get into what I've been watching. I can quickly run through, but it's all older stuff in the sense that it's stuff that's not dropping right now. You know me, I'm like way behind on my movies and my TV. I tend to be, behind the curve on a lot of that stuff. So like my wife and I are finally watching Yellowstone. I'm a Kevin Costner fan, and I had heard good things. It's quite the melodrama. There are definitely moments that I'm like, oh my God, this is like a soap opera. And it is. It's very soap opera-esque, but it's also very entertaining. I think I'm like right on top of the mic. Taylor Sheridan is a very talented writer. Sicario and Wind River and Hell or High Water. He's a very talented writer. So he definitely has a way with character and a way with dialogue that's very entertaining. And Kevin Costner always elevates whatever he's in, even if his character is, largely a John Wayne one-note kind of type. It's a very good performance from him and several of the other actors. So Cole Hauser in particular gives a real interesting performance as Rip. That is legitimately his name. Cole Hauser, you might remember from movies like Good Will Hunting. Really great actor who you would probably not recognize here because he has curly red hair, but in the show, they give him straight black hair and a dark black beard, and you just might not recognize him. And he bulked up. He got pretty big for the role. So we've been enjoying Yellowstone. We're on season 2. So we're pretty far behind the curve on a show that's basically hasn't run a new episode in a few years. So I've been watching that. Same with Slow Horses. Finally caught up on Gary Oldman's low-tech spy show. If you have Apple Plus, you've probably heard of it. Slow Horses focuses on, that basically the idea is that in MI5, the CIA of Britain, they have the main MI5 guys, the James Bondy kind of guys. And then there's this like corner office group, the dropouts, the failures, the screw ups, right? And they are managed by the screw up of screw ups, played by Gary Oldman, who looks, if it's possible for Gary Oldman to look more ragged than he did as Sirius Black, he does it here. He does it. He's got the same long locks, but they're now gray and they're even more ratty, and probably there's less of it. And he's managing a group of screw ups from this little office that none of the main MI5 guys want to go to because they're worried they're going to get cancer from just touching the tables. And they're the guys that clean up the dirty messes that nobody wants to deal with. And it's a very entertaining show, very quirky show. Hard to follow the language. Sometimes the accents are really, really thick, but it's funny and it's full of crazy moments and crazy twists. I think there's 5 or 6 seasons now, but they're 10 episode seasons. They're short seasons, but a very wild show that is very enjoyable. And I think there's a new season coming here soon in 2026 that I'm sure I'm going to be hyped on and ready for when it drops. But that's a great show. Gary Oldman, look, gang, it's Gary Oldman. It's Kristen Scott Thomas, great actress. It's I can't remember one of the guys who played in Battlestar Galactica, who was great on that show. So lots of great actors, and they're all doing really kind of fun performances here. But it's Gary Oldman's show. Gary Oldman, top to bottom, he steals every scene that he is in. He is just so slovenly. He is so sloppy, and it's wonderful to kind of watch him do that. And then lastly, Charlie is my old soul, and she's always watching stuff that her kids her age would never watch. And that's it's my prerogative. I'm always trying to introduce her to stuff that maybe, is a little bit older, not in the last 10 years or 15 years. So we had been doing things like Elementary, with Lucy Liu, great show. And she's almost done with that. She's almost watched the whole thing. She loves mystery shows. She loves crime solving kind of shows, as long as they're not too graphic. Those are her kind of things. So, we did that. She loves comedies. We've been doing Modern Family. We've already finished Scrubs and Brooklyn Nine-Nine and How I Met Your Mother. So she's done some of those like older, not old, older shows. We started her on CSI, the original early 2000s show, CSI, with the great cast. I'm already blanking on Gil Grissom's character, the actor who plays Gil Grissom, but from Manhunter to Live and Die in LA, just great actor. So we've been going through that show. It's been fun to relive those early 2000s kind of shows a little bit with her. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff. So that's what we've been watching for the most part. Brother John is in the chat. Good to see you, Brother John. How are you doing, sir? Happy Saturday. Bobby says Landman and Fallout are both good. Fallout looked a little too wild for me, and I never played the video game, so I don't know anything beyond that. Landman, it's just going to depend on that performance. Billy Bob is very much like, am I riveted by his performance, or do I feel like I'm just watching Billy Bob? Like, where does that line? I have the same issue with Kevin Costner in Yellowstone. Am I riveted by this performance, or do I just like Kevin Costner being Kevin Costner? Right? Although, truthfully, I hope Kevin Costner is not as much of a villain as John Dutton. John Dutton is clearly the villain of the show, and it's been entertaining to watch him be a villain. I thought Lorne Greene had passed away. Did Lorne Greene pass away, Craig? I don't know. That's not the guy I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of the newer Battlestar, but I appreciate the deep cut you did there. Sheena. I was talking about a smutty comic book before you arrived, Sheena, and if you're still in the chat, Sheena, I can happily mention it again for you if you like. John, don't know if you were able to see my avatar, but I zoomed in on it's me as Doctor Strange. No way. That's hilarious. What's funny, Matt, is I considered being Doctor Strange for Halloween one year, but I could never find a costume that I liked that wasn't going to cost me, a house payment. I ended up getting the Eye of Agamotto, and my wife was trying to make me the cape so that it would pop up just right and be the right length on me. So legitimately, I tried to do this, but my hair is receding faster than my ability to find the pieces of this costume. And eventually I'm not going to be able to pull it off. I'm going to have to and then I got to wear a wig to be Doctor Strange. But I would love to do it. So I think Sheena just jumped in and jumped out. I don't think she stayed. But if she does comment again, I will show her the smut book that I'm going to be reading soon. And I hesitate. I use that term very loosely. It just means that there's nudity in it. it doesn't mean anything too scandalous. I think we're, again, it's that puritanical America that we're butting up against, that everything's going to be called smut now. All right, friends, I think I'm going to bounce out. I think we are finished. We've crossed over the 1 hour mark. We've gone through everything now. We've done a little bit of everything. I want to first recommend that people take the time, if they haven't, to check out Rob Wurst's Comic Gory surprise stream. It's on my channel too. You can check it out on my channel, but the link is pinned at the top of the chat. I also got to thank my Comic Book Coalition members, awesome folks that are supporting the channel. My X-Men, same way, the X-Men squad, and my New Mutants. Thank you to all of these people for supporting the channel, because the truth is, StreamYard keeps trying to up the cost of doing this stuff, and I like going live. I like chatting, engaging, interacting. There's the word, with all of you guys. So to keep StreamYard so that I can afford it, that's what I need is the support from you guys, and then it gives me the ability to send out a mystery box or a gift box every month. And for January, at the end of the month, I'm giving away a Clayton Crane rainbow signed book. You've got a zombified Deadpool bursting out of the Hulk's chest, and it's rainbow Clayton Crane signed. So I'll be giving away that, along with a few other comics I think people might really want, including this gorgeous David Nakayama Storm. So I'm giving away all of these things to one channel member at the end of the month. It could be you. If you want to hit that join button and hang out as part of the new members, the New Mutants, X-Men, whatever level you feel comfortable doing, I appreciate anybody who does that, but nobody has to. It's just above and beyond. The best thing you do is hang out in the chat like Bruce is doing here. You can hit the like button. You can comment and engage with the chat, because that's what really makes all of this the fun that I want to keep doing. So I appreciate everybody who's taking that time to do it. I hope to see you guys all again soon. My schedule for this week is Sunday night. I'm doing D&D, so I will be doing that at 9 Eastern. I will be on Cliff's channel immediately preceding that to have a little cocktail and hang out with him and his friends and do a little trivia. And then hopefully I won't be too smoked by the time I make it over to D&D. But then next week, as I mentioned, Omni X-Men is on my channel on Tuesday night, and I'll be talking about issue 200, the Trial of Magneto. Fable is going to be joining us. It should be a whole lot of fun. So that's the big thing I'm doing next week. And then Friday next week, so a little less than a week, is the big giveaway show over on the Magic Lasso YouTube channel. I know Ryan hasn't been in the chat for today, but I've given out his link enough time. You guys should all know it. So if you follow Magic Lasso, hit the notification bell, because next Friday night he's doing his huge giveaway. He hit 1,000 subscribers and surpassed it. There's a bunch of things that are being given away, including some gorgeous slabs. I'm giving away all kinds of just big stacks of comics that you can win just by being in the chat and commenting on the giveaway video. So if you cruise over to the Magic Lasso YouTube channel and hit the notification bell, you will be there. And then check to see if you've left a comment on his giveaway video to be entered to win his prizes. So all of that stuff is happening on his channel next Friday. I'm giving away 3 different prizes just from me. I know he's got a couple of prizes, and I know that other friends of his have contributed. So there might be as many as 10 prizes that are given away that night. All you got to do is make sure you've left a video on his prize video, left a comment, on his prize video, and then show up for next Friday's live stream so that you can win some things. So just do those things. Make sure you've done it. Oh, and I got some new channel members, Brucifer and Matt. I got to play some videos for these guys. Let me see what I got here in the queue that I could play that would be a good fun. How about some singing?
Party for myself. I'm having a me party, and I need nobody else.
And how about we hit my kids?
No, well now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold that game on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
Yep. Beat the kids. Thank you guys. So 2 new channel members. Thank you guys. I will add you to the graphics, and you are now entered to win the January prize at the end of the month. So that's how it's done. You hit that new member button, the join button, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you for doing that, Matt and Bruce. But again, Magic Lasso, yeah. Make sure you head over there. Just enter to win, gang, because I'm giving away a whole stack of Batwoman with her first appearance included. And they're from Jen's collection, from Comic Books Will Break Your Heart. I kept a couple issues, but I'm giving away her copy of the first appearance. I'm giving away big chunks of her run. I've even filled it out so that you're not really missing much. And then I'm also giving away, I think, oh gosh, I can't even remember what all I'm giving away at this point. They're in the garage. I don't have them with me, but lots of prizes. You just hit the notification bell on his channel to be there Friday and leave a comment on his giveaway video. So there you go. I've hyped it up enough. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I don't know if I'll be jumping in and out of live streams this evening, but you might see me in the chats as I'm, cleaning the house and, doing the normal weekend things. But thanks everybody for coming by, and we'll catch you all again next time.